everybody, and welcome to the Creation Entertainment Podcast. We've got an amazing episode for you this week. What a treat. Top 20 movie and TV psychos. We are so excited about this one. It's such a fun and great idea. Creation co-CEO Adam Malin joins Kit Bowen to talk about the psychos that you remember, love, and fear from many, many productions from many, many decades. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's installment of the Creation Entertainment Podcast.
Hi guys, welcome back to another installment of the Creation Entertainment Pop Culture Cinema Squad. I'm Adam Malin, joined as always by my illustrious co-host, Kit Bowen.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
It's good to be back.
It's great to be back. Kit, we've been doing our countdowns of monsters and aliens, and we both said to each other, well, you know, what else is a fun countdown? And we both agreed, psychos.
Psychos.
Kit, what is it about the psychos gestalt that's so fascinating to you?
Well, I mean, because they're real people. So I guess, you can take yourself out of it a little bit when it's a supernatural monster or an alien or whatnot. But when it's a real person, then it really kind of gets under your skin a little bit, as far as the serial killers. And I have to admit, I'm sort of a true crime junkie, so I'm always watching all the dramatizations of known serial killers, so I know I'm weird.
Oh yeah, and then now that we've kind of been developing first responder events, I've been really boring down on those first responder crime shows, and it's just like there are a lot of psychos out there, and unfortunately in the real world, but thank God we're just looking at like our top 20, give or take, as well as a lot of honorable mention psychos from the film.
Now, these are fictional psychos. These aren't the real ones that they've done many movies and whatnot on. These are the ones that are made up. Still just as bad, but.
So I think, again, these aren't in a particular order, but we'll just dyslexically count them as best as we can. Okay. So we usually start at number one. Don't ask me why, but I thought that a great start for us would be one of the great all-time film psychos, although he was also featured on TV. It's the great Norman Bates.
Yes. Yes, the titular character in our top 20 countdown here.
Yeah, talk about psycho. Of course, then we're talking about Anthony Perkins, a great actor who we had at least one creation event and was charming and debonair and nothing like his character. And I mean, Kit, I know that you, as well as I, were both very devoted to and fond of the great Alfred Hitchcock.
Yes. Yeah, and this really just shocked the nation, man. When it came out, it was no one had really quite ever seen anything like that. And the shower scene alone, still to this day,
so great,
causes much anxiety as anything else. Like if you hear something and you're in the shower and you hear something, you're like, you have to look to make sure there isn't someone standing outside of your shower curtain.
It's been known to happen. Also, John Williams claims that he actually was inspired with the Jaws theme by the Bernard Herrmann Psycho theme.
Well, that makes sense. And then, of course, if anyone did watch the Netflix monster series that Ryan Murphy has done, they did one recently on Ed Gein, and he apparently inspired lots of film psychos that we'll be talking about here in this top 10, including Norman Bates. Yeah,
or top 20, as it were. An interesting factoid: Alfred Hitchcock used chocolate syrup as blood in the shower scene, and this proves that sometimes black and white can be just as shocking or more shocking than color.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Just as a side note, the character was reprised on the AMC TV series Bates Motel, which wasn't bad.
It was
Uh,
good. I liked it.
it was good, and his character is reprised by actor Freddie Highmore. And the character was explored actually again in three sequels with Anthony Perkins over the
Yeah.
following decades. So
Yeah.
a lot of
Poor Tony. Tony could never shake it, though.
yeah.
His
Well,
career never really got any more after that because everyone just associated him with that character. So that could
I
be.
think any actor that's immortalized by any role that they've done should be grateful, really. I mean, it's that George Reeves thing. I mean, be grateful that the world, thinks of you as a character and, actually believes that you're that character. I mean,
Yeah, but then you do want
job.
to try to do other things. So it was hard to get hired. That's
Well, I mean, he could always sell chocolate syrup, right? Uh, the great Anthony Perkins, the great Alfred Hitchcock, and certainly a classic Psycho. We're going to move on to a very, very TV series, one of my favorites, as we start to talk about the character of Hannibal Lecter in the number two position, the television version, an actor that I absolutely love, the great Mads Mikkelsen.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, I love this show. So creepy. I mean, to be honest, it was a foodie show, but the food he was cooking was human parts. So I
Delicious.
couldn't wrap my brain. That was just so fascinating to me. I mean, honestly, the recipes he made and the things, as it's like they really took the time to show how he would cook this stuff. Oh, it was just,
Well,
he was
I mean,
fantastic.
Kit, you are what you eat. First of all, of course, the main director and the showrunner and writer Brian Fuller, a great visionary who actually co-created Star Trek Discovery. Brian is a good friend of ours at Creation. He, along with other amazing directors, I think they took Mickelsen's cooking sequences and turned them into visual poetry.
They did.
Cuisine was like the confession booth. And
Right.
uh,
Yes. That's a good way of putting it for sure.
I also love the intense dioramas that Hannibal would leave at these sites where he'd have various body parts that form this big artistic kind of sculpture or creation. It was awesome.
Right. I mean, honestly, I mean, we'll get to the original Hannibal and whatnot, but that character is just, he's an exquisite serial killer character. He's just has so many quirks and personality traits that you just don't see in a whole lot of those kinds of characters. So, I think this particular one with Mads it's more artistic, it's more sophisticated, which has always been Hannibal's, MO, but he kind of
Yeah.
took it to a whole other level. So
I
yeah, he
think
was
that
good.
Mads is just such a sexy, charismatic, magnetic character that you practically want to be eaten by him. So
Well, yeah. Or fall into his, yeah.
it's a great show, but of course, also defining the character of Hannibal Lecter, we would have to talk about the great Anthony Hopkins.
Yes. Yes. I mean, Silence of the Lambs again, probably one of the only times the Academy Awards has given a thriller like that Best Picture. I mean, they don't do that very often. They don't consider those films of the same quality. Although they may be nominated, they don't actually get the top prize. So the fact that Silence of the Lambs did get the top prize shows you that it was a very, powerful film. And of course, Anthony Hopkins also got the Academy Award as well as Jodie Foster. But yeah, he's really the one who cemented. He wasn't the first one to play. I guess we're going to probably talk about Brian Cox here in a second, but he's the one who cemented the whole character in our heads.
Yeah. Yeah, and we will talk about Manhunter, but first of all, help me pronounce the director's name, Jonathan
Demme.
Yeah,
Demme, yeah.
I think it's an incredible directorial turn.
Yeah.
The you can't turn away from this movie.
No.
Talk about magnetic. It's incredible to watch it. Jodie is amazing, but I just have to say that really, I think it's Anthony Hopkins' tour de force.
Right. And I guess he only had 16 minutes of screen time throughout the whole film, but
Crazy.
it feels like he was in the whole thing the whole time.
Yeah. He has such a commanding presence. Talk a bit about the character. Now, the first film to feature Hannibal Lecter, of course, was Manhunter,
Yes.
and that features the great, and I do mean great, Brian Cox.
Yeah. Yeah. He was really, really good. And of course, why am I thinking Peterson, who plays the detective,
Yeah,
William Peterson
yeah, yeah.
plays the detective. They have just a really, really excellent scene in the jail there. Yeah. Brian Cox again. He's another one. You could probably call him a psycho in Succession as well, but we won't go there on that one. But yes, he's the first one to portray that character from Thomas Harris. Yeah.
You know, what's interesting is that the character of Hannibal Lecter was actually a fairly small part in Thomas Harris's novel Red Dragon.
Yeah.
And then, interestingly enough, the third film, Red Dragon, was the last in the series, even though chronologically it kind of came before.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
so but
that's a
but
great
all
that's a
every
great
it's a
movie
great
also.
character. He's just a
Yeah,
great character, but
yeah,
Anthony Hopkins is the one who put him on the map. I
yeah.
mean, yeah.
So talk about psychos. Occupying the number four place, one of the great psychotic characters who, although larger than life, really kind of rang true was Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker in Dark Knight.
100% the best one. I mean,
Amazing.
you're a fan. Were you a fan of the Superman comics?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, more a Marvel fan, but I dug the Superman stuff too. Yeah, I mean,
So I mean,
Joker,
so how was
Batman.
Joker portrayed in the comics? Was he more
Nothing
comedic?
like I think the movies were much better takes. I loved the Joker in the different films. I loved everybody that played the Joker. Cesar Romero was great in Adam West's Batman, and each version of him in the movies has been fantastic too. So
Yeah, we got
uh,
Jack Nicholson.
Nicholson, but clearly Heath Ledger's version, I think, is the most amazing one. Jared Leto did a turn in the Snyder films, but
Yeah,
I think
here's the
you've
thing.
got,
I mean, I think if we're talking about psychos, as opposed to just being a crime, person, crime boss, Nicholson played him more like a crime boss. He's eccentric, but he was a crime boss. But Heath is the one who really turned him into a psycho.
yeah,
I just, and him winning the Academy Award posthumously because unfortunately he died.
yeah.
But it just speaks volumes to what he did with that character. And I don't think anyone's ever been able to top that.
I do want to mention though that I thought Joaquin Phoenix in the first Joker film
Okay.
did a great turn.
Yeah, he did.
I thought he was pretty fantastic. That second movie though, that didn't work.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I mean,
That didn't work out.
obviously, historically, the character itself is one of the best villains from the Batman series. I said
From
Superman,
DC.
didn't I? I meant Batman. Sorry about that. I said
But
Superman. Sorry, guys.
From DC in general, Joker is one of their most iconic villains.
Yeah.
Ledger's performance, I think, amazing. Of course, when you've got a director like Christopher Nolan, who's so incredible, and actually encouraging Heath to improvise, they just developed a vocabulary for the character that was so unique, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so,
So he's the best one for sure.
all right. And moving on in the number five position, we have a fantastic film, American Psycho, with the great Christian Bale.
Yes, yes, another interesting film. Early in Christian's career. But of course, Bret Easton Ellis, who created the character, he is kind of the epitome of that 1980s, yuppie greed kind of thing. Sort of like a Wall Street
Wall
turns
Street,
bad
yeah,
kind
the
of
Wall Street Wolves kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah,
Um,
Christian he eats that up, man. He is just chewing on the scenery in that whole film, but so good.
well, the actual original American Psycho novel was released in 91, but definitely it's that 80s, 90s yuppie greed vibe. And the director, Mary Harron, actually asked Bale to play the character like a corporate mannequin. So they were going for a certain kind of affectation to the character.
Yeah.
And
Not a really great film overall, but it certainly stands out as one of Christian's best performances and one that people talk about a lot when they talk about Christian Bale, for sure.
Just interestingly enough, in the film Rules of Attraction, James Van Der Beek, actually an actor that I really like, plays the younger brother of Patrick Bateman, Sean Bateman.
You know what? I think I've seen Rules of Attraction, but it's been a really long time. But I
Yeah.
know that one's kind of a messed up movie too. So
But Christian, I mean, he's got a lot of gravitas. I mean, that guy commands the screen,
he
so
does.
pretty impressive.
And just as
Yeah.
a side note, coming up this in the next month, I believe, he's starring as Frankenstein monster in a very unique take on The Bride of Frankenstein with Jessie Buckley playing the bride and directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah,
And set in the 1930s.
The film is called The Bride.
The Bride.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that
So I'm
looks
looking
pretty
forward
good
to that.
because what the world needs is another Frankenstein movie.
But set in the 1930s. Come on, it's different.
No, I'm just joking, of course. Maggie is an incredible talent, and I've no doubt it'll have an amazing, unique vision.
Yeah.
But yeah, didn't expect to see another Frankenstein movie quite so fast, but yes. Okay.
Now we're at
Number six position. It's kind of sad because the director of this film has just died recently under very tragic circumstances, Rob Reiner. But you can't talk about Psychos without talking about Annie Wilkes, the great Kathy Bates from Misery.
Yeah, again, another Academy Award for an amazing performance. Now, of course, I'm a Stephen King fanatic. And,
Yeah.
when I heard they were making Misery, I was thinking, how are they going to do this? Because, a lot of the book is in the guy's head. He's in bed and he's trying to get out of there, and she just keeps chopping parts of him off. And, it's horrifying. But, and on the page, Annie's, she's a complete psycho, only the way that Stephen King can write her. But Kathy Bates, what she does, how she brings her to life is just tremendous.
I know she's completely horrible, but I do find her
It's sad. She's sad.
kind
It's a
of
sad character.
sympathetic,
Yeah.
and poor James Caan is suffering through, this terrible experience. He's awesome too,
Yeah.
even though he's the kind of guy that could beat the crap out of almost anybody.
Yeah. Well, of course, Stephen King, this comes straight out of, he's the things that run through his head, but obviously I'm sure there's more than one person who's come up to him and said, I'm your number one fan. And I think he took that one and he went,
Yeah.
how do I
think
turn
it's-
this into something?
It's also sort of a cautionary tale about fans in general.
Yes, our business. Hello.
That's right. So hopefully, the fans at our shows are not quite as zealous as that. Would like to
Oh my
see.
God.
I don't even want to go there, right? But I love Kathy Bates, and she actually is a very, very funny woman. There's something
Yes.
slightly horribly comedic about her as well.
Yes. Yes.
So it's definitely, I think, a pretty notorious film.
Yeah.
Okay. The number 7 spot, one of my favorite crazy characters is the great, and I mean great, Jack Nicholson as Jack Torrance from The Shining.
Yes. Yes.
This movie is really in a class by itself. It's one of Kubrick's best films. I love Kubrick. It starts out just with the creepy hotel itself.
Yes.
That hotel in Colorado. And the hotel itself is a character, but really, I think Jack's his character.
Well, was it slow?
Yes,
I
it
kind
was
of felt it was kind of
slowly coming unhinged. He was coming unhinged. It began to accelerate, but really, it was kind of the first act and a half of the film. You're just starting to get a hint of it. Poor Shelley Duvall is like wowzers. So great.
So again, being a Stephen King fan,
Yeah.
he did not like this movie at all. It wasn't really the book. He made, the character of Jack was definitely not as psychotic as Jack Nicholson turned him into. And there's parts of the book that never make it into the movie, and that a lot of purists, didn't really like The Shining for that
Oh,
reason.
okay.
But
Yeah.
I do like it as the movie. As a standalone movie, I appreciated it.
I
And
mean,
yes, Jack Nicholson. I think he was pretty
killed.
unhinged from the beginning, but
He killed.
him
He
turning
killed.
turning more and more into it was definitely horrifying.
He was amazing, and Shelley Duvall was amazing. The two of them were amazing, and I think it's one of Kubrick's great pieces of work. An interesting factoid, during filming, a fire broke out and destroyed several sound stages at Elstree Studios in
Yeah.
the UK, where they were filming. They don't know what caused the fire. It might have been an electrical fault, but the main parts of The Shining were already filming at that point, and the film crew was able to rebuild the damaged sections of the set. But they managed to reproduce that hotel pretty effectively.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many classic scenes.
Yes.
I love the scene of the two sisters standing in the hallway, the kid on the
Come play with
tricycle.
us, Danny. Come play
Hor-
with us.
Horrible. The kid going through kid going through the hallway on the tricycle, and the frozen grounds outside the hotel all covered in snow.
Yes.
And of course, the greatest of the greatest, the scene where Shelley's holed up in the bathroom or wherever he is, and he's hacking his way through the door, the whole "here's Johnny" thing. You're not going to do much better than that for a psychotic moment in film.
Yeah. And just a side note too, they did make a sequel to The Shining called he wrote a sequel called Doctor Sleep.
Yeah.
And a grown-up Danny Torrance, now played by Ewan McGregor, has to run up against this another really horrible person, but she's Rebecca Ferguson, who I love as an actress, just plays her to the T. Rose
We
the
love
Hack.
Rebecca. She's
Yeah.
so great. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, it continues on the Overlook and all of that. The universe of that just continues on. So, yeah.
Well, why would anybody go to that hotel in the first place? It's beyond me, but I guess not everybody has different people have different ideas about vacations. Let's kick on to our position 8, and that would be, of course, the great Michael Myers from Halloween. Well, I mean, I'm a big John Carpenter fan, so of course the Shape is, close to my heart. I think it's pretty common knowledge that the Michael Myers mask originally is a William Shatner mask, but it's really part of what shapes those films and makes them so much fun is Jamie Lee Curtis.
Of course. Of course. And they made so many sequels to them, but then she returned to sort of cap it as an older Laurie Strode, for the last 2 movies, and really gave fans sort of a coda to the series, which was nice, but
I guess
definitely not my cup of tea.
no, I mean, but I guess the house that they filmed a lot of it in Pasadena
Yep.
is like a tourist attraction now.
Yeah, I have a friend who goes every year.
Now, another notorious psycho villain from the films who repeated in multiple films was Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Again, another reference to the real life serial killer Ed Gein, because he liked to take the skins of his victims off and wear them.
Well, what's wrong with that? I mean,
I don't know.
it's a fashion statement. The funny thing is that Gunnar Hansen, who is, I guess, the most famous of the Leatherfaces, he was a guest of ours at our Fangoria shows for many, many years, and such a sweet, proper gentleman. And then, of course, on screen, he's got to be this colossal murderer. And the original Texas Chainsaw, of course, is pretty seminal piece of horror work. I mean,
Yes.
Toby Hooper. It's like a lot of horror film historians go back to him. The Blumhouse people, cite him quite a bit. And just as a factoid, an inspiration for Toby came at a department store during a Christmas 1972 shopping rush. There were these Christmas crowds, and Toby found himself near a display of chainsaws and focused on the chainsaws. And he said, "You know what? I know a way I could get through this crowd really quickly. So he just suddenly thought about, going down on people with the chainsaw. Interestingly, the original film had alternative titles. One was, of course, Leatherface, and the other was Head Cheese, which is bizarre,
Gosh.
before settling on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But I do think in the pantheon of psycho films, this is certainly a pretty beloved, certainly the original, a pretty beloved, notorious film.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, let's step back for a second to talk about that first Hannibal film, Manhunter,
Yeah.
Brian Cox, because notably it was directed by the great Michael Mann. And I do
Love
mean the
him.
great because Michael Mann is an incredible director.
He is. He is. He has a certain style. I'll never forget watching Miami Vice on television.
And an interesting factoid about the film is the fact that it was originally going to be called Red Dragon, like the novel, but they changed it that year when there was another film, Year of the Dragon,
Which starred Mickey Rourke.
the great Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
Um,
But then they did finally make Red Dragon with Anthony
Yeah.
Hopkins reprising
Correct.
his role, and
They
then
did finally
Ed
decide to
Norton.
use the title, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and Ed Norton. I guess Brian based his lecture on a real life Scottish serial killer named Peter Manuel.
Ah.
So the great Brian Cox, whom we adore, from Manhunter. All right, let's move on. We had alluded to Joaquin Phoenix's performance in The Joker. And I know there has been a lot of controversy about that second film, but I thought that first film, Todd Phillips's first film, was pretty fantastic. And especially that kind of dance language.
Yeah, I mean, he does do something with it that's also interesting, you know. Wasn't my favorite though, because that first one actually was pretty good. I mean, I
Yeah, it's a
understood
pretty
what he
darn
was
good
trying to go
film.
for.
The problem is the second film was kind of such
So
a
depressing.
disappointment.
It was like,
Yeah,
wow.
but the first film I thought really was pretty darn good.
Yeah, yeah.
So I did want to just, give him a little bit of credit for that. And
Yep.
I thought Todd Phillips did a good job on that first film. I think they had a take for that second film, an idea about what they wanted to do with the musical and such. I just thought that fell flat on its face. That's just my opinion. Or other,
Yeah, no, it didn't work at all. It didn't
yeah.
work at all.
So,
No.
anyway, all right, moving on to number 12. One of our favorite television serial killers is the great Dexter Morgan, played by Michael C. Hall. I know you're a big fan of this series.
Yes. Yes,
Yep.
I am. And again, we've seen movies and whatnot based on a serial killer, but this time around, this whole series around Dexter is just quite fascinating. The way, yeah, he's a psycho, but he's only a psycho. He has this code that he lives by, which is taught by his cop dad, his cop foster dad, I guess I should say, or adoptive dad. That, if you have these urges to kill, why don't you kill bad people? But of course, that's always, problematic in its sense. But he does his research before he tracks down and gets somebody. So it was just such a fantastic series. All of the characters in the show were so good, especially his sister. Debbie, played by Jennifer Carpenter. So it was just. It went beyond just the idea of a serial killer and how he would live his life kind of thing. It was much more entailed. And, Dexter's, the idea that a serial killer generally doesn't have any emotions, I mean, that's sort of the subjugation of that type of person. And Dexter didn't have any emotions, but he did, there were times when he did. So it's him growing too as a person as well and becoming a dad. And it was just such a great series.
And the character's been around now for 20 years, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Of course, I did not love the way the first series ended. I thought that was a kind of a weak ending, but they have made up for it in these new iterations of him, especially this recent one called Resurrection.
What
So
would you
good.
think about the prequel?
It was okay. It was
Yeah.
okay. I don't know. It was hard for me to watch a Dexter without Michael C. Hall. I mean, he really is this character.
Yeah.
And so when Resurrection came, I went, yeah, now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Just
I want to
for,
see the real Dexter.
for fans that aren't familiar with it, there was a novel by Jeff Lindsay called Darkly Dreaming Dexter. That was in 2004. So I think that's what kicked the whole thing off.
Yeah.
Now, when we're talking about psychos, we've got a character who might not seem like your average psycho. You might even not want to put him into the category of a psycho. He's clearly a sociopath at the very least. So we thought we'd mention him for fun. And that is the great Tony Soprano, played by, and I do mean great, James Gandolfini.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna lump Tony Soprano and that mobster psycho, we've had several mobster psychos
Yeah.
in the film. We've got Joe Pesci's mobster from Goodfellas,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and I would say Michael Corleone was also a psycho, in a way, from The Godfather, just the cold bloodedness of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, Tony
Samuel
kind of.
Jackson.
So Tony Soprano sort of does encapsulate it, but he's a flawed psycho because he knows he's not right in the head. He's trying to get help. And yeah, it's just the whole idea of a mobster person, and I think The Sopranos, again, another series that can't be topped in what it did to show the culture and and how it worked, and especially New Jersey and everything, all of it, and the characters.
You got to
Everyone.
give it to David Chase. I mean, it was just something that hit the zeitgeist, right, dead in the
Yeah,
center, and an amazing ensemble that
yeah,
is very well beloved. I was interested and I kind of enjoyed the prequel, Many Saints of Newark, which interestingly enough featured Gandolfini's son Michael playing his father's role, which is crazy. So,
yeah. I know, and he looks just like him. But if
uh,
if you're gonna pin me down to a mob psycho,
yeah,
I'm gonna have to say it's Tommy DeVito from Goodfellas. It's got to be Joe Pesci.
he's pretty
He
great. But how about Samuel Jackson from that
Pulp
Tarantino
Fiction.
film? And also the other Tarantino film,
Oh, Jackie Brown. I never
Jackie
saw
Brown.
that.
Oh my God, he's terrifying in that movie. He's definitely a psychopath in that film too. Okay,
Yeah.
so we got to mention some of that. I just thought it would be fun to just kind of bring in some of these,
It's good, but I think
basic
Tony
criminals
kind of
here.
encapsulates it all. But yeah,
That's
but if
right.
I'm gonna pick a real psycho, I would have to say Joe
Okay.
Pesci. Yeah.
Now, Ryan Murphy and his producing partners have done a lot of kind of crazy stuff on TV. And American Horror Story certainly is, one of his most notorious shows. And even though I loved the death of Gianni Versace,
Yeah.
talk about psychos with
But that was his. That's the That's yeah. That's not the horror story. The horror story series started with this one that we're talking about. This
Yeah,
character.
we're gonna. Yeah, I'm going. I just want to mention as a side note, though, that Darren Criss was awesome as the real life psycho killer that killed Gianni
Right.
Versace. Um, Ryan Murphy has a fascination with characters like that. But
He
yes,
sure
of course.
does. He's making many things from
Uh,
monster to.
yeah. However, Tate Langdon from American Horror Story, played by the great Evan Peters, I think is one of his most notorious characters.
Yeah. So the whole first season, which is still by far the best season of American Horror Story, in my opinion,
Yeah.
the haunted house one, where if you die in the house, you stay in the house, basically. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, Tate Landon, Evan Peters' character, is a teenager who was basically a school shooter, and he ends
Yeah.
up getting killed in the house. So he's in the house. So when this new family moves in, and the young daughter starts seeing Tate, she thinks he's a real person, but he's really just a ghost. So yeah, I mean, it was that's a great performance by Evan Peters.
The, the,
He's done
char-
good stuff.
I mean, the character is based on the a real life Columbine killer. Columbine was the most notorious, worst school shooting of its time in 1999. So the
Yeah.
character is kind of loosely based around one of those
And then
Columbine killers.
Evan went on to play Jeffrey Dahmer in the first iteration of Monster, which also unbelievable performance.
That
Really,
was
really good.
amazing. Also love him as Quicksilver in the Marvel Comics films. I mean, I think
The X-Men movies, the first class, and yeah,
he's
he's
really great.
fantastic. He's a great
Yeah,
actor.
he's really great. Um, Touching back to Batman characters again briefly and the Joker, just thought we'd just kind of mention Jack Nicholson since we were talking about him. And the director, Tim Burton, who I thought had his own very comedic and interesting take on Batman. And Nicholson had just a different kind of a take on
Like a
Joker
mobster.
than,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mobster with flair.
I guess Robin Williams had a shot at the role too.
That would have been interesting.
That might have been
I don't know if
interesting.
I don't think I knew
Yeah.
that
He
reference.
also was later considered for the Riddler in the film that was Batman Forever.
I think Jim Carrey was probably better at that one. But I don't know, you could have done that one too. Who knows?
Let's move on to number 17. This is a character that I really adore. He's a character that's a sort of a classic character in Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes' nemesis Moriarty, and the modern version, which of course we absolutely loved with Benedict Cumberbatch. The villain Moriarty is played by actor Andrew Scott, who is so wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. I have not seen all of Sherlock, but I love Andrew Scott. And of course, Moriarty does stand out as one of the most, well-known nemesis, literary nemesis, I would say, who's carried on and been played by several people throughout the ages here. But Andrew Scott. So I'm going to throw in, to be honest with you, if we're talking about Andrew Scott and Psychos, I'm going to throw in the talented Mr. Ripley, which was actually just called Mr. Ripley on Netflix. So it's based on the book. Matt Damon played in the movie. Brilliant. Just a great, turn. And, this character is a bit of a psycho. But Andrew Scott's turn as Tom Ripley was very subdued, very subtle, and just frightening as hell. I mean, he was so creepy, but such a, very understated way. I thought he did a brilliant job with that. So if anybody's wants to watch a really great series, Mr. Ripley on Netflix with Andrew Scott is also really good.
Duly noted. I did want to say that this Moriarty, Scott's version of Moriarty, plays really well emotionally, both with Benedict Cumberbatch as Sherlock and Martin Freeman as Watson. And there's this very, very strong kind of emotional tug between those characters that the chemistry of the characters is really sensational. It's a great show. People, it's only a couple of seasons, but if you haven't seen Sherlock, go back and watch the reruns because it really was a sensational show, and he really was the standout villain from the show.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure.
Okay. Coming in at number 18, a psychopath close to all of our hearts from the series The Boys is Homelander, actor Anthony Starr.
Yeah.
Hopefully we have a whole bunch of Boys fans out there.
He 100% a psycho. But here's the idea, what if Superman was actually, a greedy, didn't care about humans at all kind of a guy and had all these powers and could kill anybody anytime he wanted to. Yeah. Not a good combination. not a good combination.
He's a wonderful character based on characters created by Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson. Those comics were from DC Comics and Dynamite Publishing. But the great Eric Kripke, who created Supernatural, is the showrunner and the creator of the Boys series.
Yep.
And Anthony's portrayal, I think, is very notorious, and never know when he's going to turn around and just, incinerate half your body off or something like that. Of course, for all of our Supernatural fans, we're all excited about Jensen Ackles' return in the 5th season of The Boys, as well as the spin-off series Vought Rising, where Jensen's Soldier Boy is actually the lead character of the series.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff to look forward to, but certainly when it comes to psycho superheroes, I think Homelander from The Boys definitely takes the cake.
Yeah, 100%.
And then while we're talking about DC characters, you couldn't probably talk about Batman and DC without at least a tertiary mention of the wonderful Penguin, Oswald Cobb. And in particular, although I have loved Burgess Meredith from the Batman TV series and
Danny DeVito
from the Tim Burton films, who is very endearing. That second Batman film by Burton, I thought was really fantastic. But really, Colin Farrell's portrayal of the Penguin, by Matt Reeves, the same guy that did the Batman movie. I think that this is an absolutely superb show. What do you think
Yeah.
about the show there?
Oh, I loved it. I
Yeah.
loved it. And yeah, it's the Penguin. I mean, Oz is kind of it's Neb. He's on the fence about being a psycho, but generally I would call him a psycho manipulator because that is his best quality. He is able to manipulate his way out of anything. And then Christine Milioti is playing his sort of foe, I guess, in some sense. She's also another one. I mean, it's that whole show has some amazing characters and amazing performances.
I mean, I find that he's kind of a sadistic Tony Soprano type,
Yep.
although Sofia Giganti, formerly of the Falcone dynasty, Kristen Milioti,
Yeah.
I think is probably equally deadly. And I just think that Colin, what he did to create that character between the prosthetics, the heavy makeup, the limp, and the way he threw himself into the character,
Yeah.
I think it was the role of a lifetime for him.
Yep. And I think he thinks that too. I mean, he speaks highly of playing that, but we're
Yeah.
hoping, crossing fingers, that maybe they'll come back with another
Yeah.
another
Let's talk about a second
series.
season.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fingers crossed. Okay, we're going to do some honorable mentions, but coming in at 20, we did just want to mention Ghostface from the Scream films, which is various characters
Yep.
played this character. Wes Craven, who sort of came up with the concept. I think it was a pretty novel concept, at least when it first came out. And, it's
Well, the whole idea behind each movie now is who is Ghostface, right? That's always the twist of the film is
right.
who is he? Which one is playing him now? Of all the people that are in the movie, which one is the Ghostface? But Nev Campbell, and look, they keep churning these movies out and they keep making money, so they're just not going to stop. And Nev, who's from the very first one, she's now in the very next one, which I think is 7 or 8 or I don't know, something like that. That's coming out this year, so everybody's very excited about it. They've all been pretty fun movies. I mean, that first one was the one that scared me the most, especially
The first one was actually pretty scary.
Yeah, that horrible opening sequence with Drew Barrymore. Oh, it's just awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've all been pretty entertaining, I have to admit.
All right, we're in overtime right now. We got to wrap this up, but I think you had a couple of honorable mentions.
I do. Yeah. I do. Okay, number one, we didn't really go all the way back in film land here, but I think we need to mention Peter Lorre from the movie M. He played a child murderer in that film, and I've never seen the whole thing, but I've seen parts of it. But he kind of was an original psycho, The movie came out in hold on, if I can find it. Came out in 1931.
Crazy.
So, yeah, so that was a really creepy part. And then he went on to do Casablanca and everybody forgot about it. But yeah, Peter Lorre's M was a pretty bad one. Also, John Doe, played by Kevin Spacey in the horribly creepy film Seven.
Seven is a very disturbing film.
So even though we only see him for, like 10 minutes at the very end, what we know he's done through the whole film is ugh. It was just awful. And so I thought Kevin Spacey was really good. I mean, he's played some great psychos in his career as well, but that one definitely takes the cake. And last, even though it's not film, I think we should mention Negan from The Walking Dead, the great Jeffrey D. Morgan. Come on now, that guy's a psycho.
He's really knows his way around a bat with barbed wire, that's for sure. And we love Jeffrey too. He's such a pussycat, but Negan was definitely a nasty character. What he did to Stephen Ewan was pretty bad.
I mean, that whole like cliffhanger and then who's gonna die kind of thing was just fantastic marketing and also just horrible.
Kit, we could go on and on with psychos and film and television, but the good news is that at least those characters don't really exist, and they're just there for our cinematic amusement. And I'm sure there are going to be many, many more in the years to come, and we'll probably have to do another countdown of another 20 of those characters and within the next couple of
I
years.
know,
So,
because TV too. I mean, there's just so much that, yeah. So I'm sure that we missed a few here and there. So let us know who we missed, who you think
yeah,
is some great psychos in film and TV in the
yeah.
comments below, and like, subscribe, tell your friends about the podcast, all that good
So,
stuff.
thumbs up, thumbs down to the particular characters we mentioned, and give us your own ideas about who you thought were the greatest psychos of all time.
Yes,
Anyway, it was a lot of fun,
a
kid.
lot of
Thank you so
fun,
much,
Adam.
as always. And thanks to all of our viewers for being with us. And we'll see you guys again soon. Okay. Ta ta.
Bye.
So, what did you think of that? Let us know. Psychos, the actors that portray them, the writers that create them can really make or break a production. All right, so coming up in March, we've got a couple conventions. Chicago, Illinois, March 21st and 22nd. We've got our Rescueverse convention, a salute to TV's first responders. That is Chicago, Illinois, at the Westin O'Hare Hotel. Also, Covington, Georgia. We are coming to you March 28th and 29th for the Salute to Vampire Diaries Festival. This is going to be so much fun in Covington, Georgia, March 28th and 29th. Do not miss that. That's it for us this week on the Creation Entertainment Podcast. So everybody, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for notifications. If you're listening in, give us a 5-star rating and a nice review. We'd really appreciate that. We will see you next time on the Creation Entertainment Podcast.